Welcome to the Meditation Podcast. You can find all our episodes on meditationpodcast.org. My guest today, Natalie Bedard, also known as Nat Nat. Nat Nat. We'll ask her later what's that all about. A beacon of resilience and empowerment. In 2019, she founded Lift OneSelf, offering profound energy healing services. Despite grappling with life-threatening illnesses and single parenthood to 3 boys, Natalie is a steadfast mentor on the journey of self-discovery and healing. With her profound understanding of the nervous system, she specializes in unraveling emotional blockages and reigniting intuitive connections. Natalie's trauma-competent approach is truly transformative. She guides individuals to embrace their fullest potential through small, actionable steps towards growth and transformation. It's about empowering people to navigate their healing journey with compassion, resilience, and a deep understanding of their unique experiences. Safety and radical honesty are the keys to unlocking the mystery. From Ottawa, I believe, Canada, please welcome Nat Nat, we call you. So let us know, what's the Nat Nat, Natalia?
Thank you so much for having me, Roy. It's actually Natalie. It's not Natalia, it's Natalie. And Nat Nat came, it's okay. Nat Nat came because my friend's son, he couldn't pronounce the L's when he was beginning to talk. And like children, they always double up words. So he just started saying Nat, 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 Nat. And it just stuck. And so everybody, and his mother's name was Natalie. So having 2 Natalies there, it made it that, well, we have to differentiate. So the Nat Nat helped him to be able to differentiate. And it just stayed. And that's been since 2000, I think 3, about when he started using language. So it's been with me ever since. And I understand sometimes people are like, Nat Nat, like you're an older lady. What are you doing with these nicknames? Yet I invite people to come back into a playful state. I think the older that we can get too serious and we forget to be in our playful state. So to be in our childlike state. So I like to bring the playfulness in.
And I suppose those that are watching on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, I mentioned prior to recording about your beautiful background with Breathe, and you kind of went into detail on that. And I'd like if you'd repeat it because it was actually beautiful.
Yeah, so I have the word breathe behind me to always remind myself also to breathe in an environment where I know a lot of times people here will breathe and it's like, don't tell me that, I'm already doing it. The missing part is focus on your breath so it can bring you back into your body so that you can check your inner state to start feeling your emotions. And I understand for some that can feel really uncomfortable because you've never done it before. You've just suppressed and just been stuck in your head and not come into your body to really feel your full expression and energy. So by focusing on your breath, it brings you into the moment because the breath is always in the moment. And you are also, I understand a lot of people are like, I want to come into the now. I want to come into the now. It's like you are always in the now. It's that you're stuck in the stories in your mind rather than being the presence in your body so that you can experience life. So that breath anchors you into that space and bringing you into your body to be able to feel those emotions, release it, and have an open space within yourself so that you can experience the fullness of life. And I get it. There's a lot of challenges that come on in life. So you want to shut down and you don't want to be in the body because it's too overwhelming. And those times are needed, yet it's always bringing a reminder, come back in the body, because that's where life is and that's where you can feel the aliveness and hear your signals and your intuition of what you need to do, not what the world is bombarding you to tell you to do to feel a sense of good enough, because you're already whole with a W.
Excellent. Beautiful. So, like, we all have our kind of journey in life. Something happens that makes us make this, transition to something different, right? Let's hear your story.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, I was hospitalized because I had lesions in my brain. They were in my brainstem and in my cerebellum. And I was hospitalized for almost 40 days. And I was told I was going to die. And so I went through a battery of tests, and all the tests kept coming back saying, atypical, but not finding the root cause of what was the diagnosis. So then I was released from the hospital without a diagnosis. So that means there's not a plan to follow. And I was like an invalid. I couldn't walk. I couldn't formulate thoughts properly. My eyes were cross-eyed because the lesions actually physically moved the positioning of my eyes. So I had a lot of vertigo, double vision. And so in that, my twins were 4 at the time. And, as a parent, you just have to make do. So I just really started to come back into my body and slow and steady. And there was a grieving process with that because anybody that has had an illness, you want to go back to your old state. Like you were 100% before, but you're not taking in consideration you may only be 50% right now. So it really allowed me to honor the body and give it what it needed in that space and really understand the nervous system and the energy. And then in 2015, I discovered meditation in the form of TM, transcendental meditation. And so that is where the fun began. And I started doing the somatic releases in my body. And my teacher had told me, she's like, a lot of people start meditation, but at a certain point, they drop off. And then they come back years later and say, I want to start again. And I was like, oh, I totally understand. Because there's a certain level you get to, but then when you're starting to get more profound, all this stuff that you have stored down is starting to come up in the body, and it's overwhelming and it's uncomfortable and it's very confusing. And so if you don't have a space for somebody to co-regulate, it becomes challenging. So in that, I got to discover more about my nervous system because, when you learn meditation, they tell you to create a quiet space in your house to do it and practice. Twin boys, I wasn't having that as a solo parent. So I took meditation in the living room with them. And so when they were loud and noisy, I would see my nervous system wanting to interject, quiet them down. What are they doing? This and that. And I would just be, come back here, come back to the breath, come back to the breath. So that really allowed me to see the regulation of the nervous system and see where it's always trying to find the problems because it's built out of negative biases. And so more and more, I cleared out my vessel, and people were coming to me and talking and felt a sense of calm and being able to be honest in their journey. So that's when in 2019, I meditated, and it was, okay, create the company Lift OneSelf. So the Lift OneSelf means lifting the ego, which are those defense mechanisms of the nervous system that block you from your vulnerability and feeling your authentic emotions, to come into the oneself. And anybody that's done meditation and that has gone profoundly, you understand what that one self is that we're all connected into. And so from then, I've just been helping others to come back into their portal, into their body, and make sense of what is going on internally so that they can follow their intuition and not what the world has told them to be.
And with young children, and you were kind of told, yeah, this is the end. Like, how did you kind of reach deep within to kind of crawl out of that? Because sometimes, and I think sometimes doctors, I don't know why, but like they don't give people hope. And even no matter what, people with cancer, I've seen people recover from so many different things that they said, no, you're going, this is how it is. And it's like, but I think it's within. And it just, how did you do it? Like
There was a surrender with death. I went through death and re-changed the definition of what death was. So there was a surrender in my faith also of not being fearful of God and what that would look like in the transition, and being at the mercy of, okay, if I'm supposed to still be here or if I'm supposed to leave, let me surrender to what the path is. And I had to, like, my oldest son was 18 at the time. So, having in mind, like, oh, I got my 4-year-old twin boys. I don't want to be a parent and my mother. And so, that was navigating. Yet I, explained to him that this isn't a punishment. This is what life experiences are. And I'm going to do my best to get healthy again and do my inner work to be the parent that you guys require to navigate in this world, and also connect into my worth. Yet to explain it was really having a different relationship with death and not being pushing away, actually going through it and better understanding the uncertainty and the unknown that we're always in. Yet our mind kind of, this thing of death instills a lot of fear in you where you're not able to use that fear to navigate through. So I've just been able to walk through it and have a different relationship. And there was a surrender and a different relationship with faith, not one of begging and make it better. It's okay, this situation I'm in right now, show me the tools to navigate in. Because there's like, I didn't want to be in the situation that I was in. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. That's why I created Lift OneSelf. And so in that, it's okay, what are my tools? What do I need to listen to? What is the energy? How do I support my energy? How do I support my life force? What are the things that I need to prioritize that are needs and not wants? And really face the part of my nervous system, because I had significant trauma when I was younger, where it would go into the people pleasing, where it would go into wanting to have a sense of belonging, where it would go into I had to be all in service and not be able to receive. So it took a lot of work to be able to face myself. And, in that, I took away all the things that would have me run away from my inner work. So alcohol, I didn't go into another relationship. I removed sex. I removed social media. I removed spending. I engaged with my emotional eating. So I really created a space where, a lot of people are like, that was some warrior work. Like, what the heck were you doing? And it's like, well, when you are told that you're going to die and your body is not functioning properly, and it's like you have no other choice. And you do have a choice. You always have a choice. Sorry, I should rephrase that. You always have another choice. My choice was I want to face this rather than run away from it anymore. I want to better understand myself. I want to better understand my wounds and my emotional wounding and be able to feel and see myself rather than go to others to soothe me and to make me feel whole. That was my own responsibility.
Beautiful, beautiful. And with like the meditation, then, you said TM that you were doing, but have you played with different ones? And
Oh, yeah.
what's your kind of daily practice now, if you do one, and even with breathwork as well?
Yeah, my go-to is always my breath. So it's grounding. Most people call it Vipassana. So it's always coming to the breath, and I regulate the nervous system. So it's holding the space. Like I say that the three things that are needed is safety for the nervous system, so it can disarm, radical honesty, so you can face yourself and be honest about what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and then feeling and being able to feel your authentic emotions, not the secondary ones, not the ones that you put a mask towards. It's like really feeling those emotions so the body can just release the expression, because our emotions are messengers. It doesn't mean that they're supposed to hijack the car and do it. Like, say, if I'm feeling really angry and frustrated with my children, it doesn't mean I go and take action and shut them down. It's just being honoring, okay, well, why am I feeling this way? And get into the undercurrents. And it might feel like, oh, I'm overgiving, or I don't feel respected, or whatever narrative there may be. A lot of times we just feel the emotion, yet we don't go in the undercurrents and the underpinning of finding out what are you actually feeling? What is really going on? And once you can face that, the storm calms down internally. Where before it was like this high alert, yet once you start validating and acknowledging what you are feeling without feeling like you're offending somebody else, but really acknowledging your inner state, then that inner storm starts to dissipate.
And have you techniques for actually doing that? Because sometimes people, they can't kind of find out the reason, like sometimes they're just reacting, but it's nothing to do with what's actually going on. And it's very hard for them to do that. But have you kind of techniques how people can kind of tap into that?
Would you allow me to guide you in a small meditation right now so that people can feel exactly what I'm speaking about?
Sure, of course.
Okay. And for the listeners, a lot of times we're listening to a podcast while driving. So when I ask Roy and myself to close our eyes, please don't. I want you to stay safe and everybody else to stay safe. Yet you're able to
Unless you're
use
driving a Tesla and it drives itself.
Exactly. But even then, some of them have been glitching over here on this side. And another part, you're able to do those prompts with whatever activity. Again, safety. If you're getting too relaxed and it's bringing you into a state that you're not able to do your activity and your activity needs your focus, just fast forward. Yet I would highly recommend you come back to this mindful moment so that you can check in with your body and check in with your inner state. So Roy, I'll ask you to get comfortable in your seat and you're going to gently close your eyes. And you're going to begin breathing in and out through your nose. And you're going to bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out through your nose. You're not going to try and control your breath. You're just going to bring your awareness to watching your breath go in your nostrils, down into your lungs, and watch it come back out in the exhale. And be aware of the rhythm of it, which now you may have some sensations or feelings coming up in the body. Let them come up. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Drop into your body. And keep your awareness on your breath. By now, there may be some thoughts or memories popping up. It's fine. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, creating a space between those thoughts. Staying with your breath, seeing those thoughts pass in front of you, and letting those sensations just pass through you while staying with your breath and going deeper into your body. Staying with your breath. Continue staying with your breath, going deeper into your body. If those thoughts hooked you in, just bring your awareness back to your breath. Go deeper in your body. Now, while still staying with your breath, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes while staying with your breath. How do you feel?
Very relaxed.
And that's why I have breathe here, because it's those 1 minute activities or 2 minute activities that we can take for ourselves that sometimes we don't even allow ourselves to do every hour, to just allow ourselves to check in with our body and release whatever interactions or things that have been going on. And so I understand for some, there may have been some visceral things that were coming up in the body or pain signals or tension. It's no longer ignoring it. It's facing it and staying with your breath and asking the body, what does it need? What am I actually feeling? And a lot of times in our world, we don't even know how to acknowledge that we're feeling fear. We have a really awful relationship with fear. And that's our nervous system. That's our humanness. And a lot of it is bombarded with psychological safety it's trying to find, where that's supposed to be our responsibility. Yet we try to look for it in the media or in news, in social media, in other people, where it's like, wait, have you checked in with yourself to see how you're treating yourself, what you're thinking, how you're in your relationships? Yet once you start doing that inner journey, there's a transformation because no longer can you deny what your part is. It's okay, I'm going to go through the sharp truth. And with that sharp truth, you don't need to run anymore. You're able to see that you are worthy of your own attention and care, and to be there for yourself and be there for your body. But it's warrior work. It's not an easy task. It's simple, yet it's not easy. And it can be very daunting when those big waves come up. Yet that's why it's called work. And, I would highly suggest when people have significant trauma or there's things going on, don't do it alone. Have somebody that you can co-regulate where they can offer a space of listening, not try to save you from your pain, allow you to see that your pain can be transformation. And that's not everybody can witness pain without trying to, interfere with it. Yet finding somebody that can help you better understand your own experiences and what your body needs and, what you require to sustain the fulfillment and the joy in your life.
And like with, whether it's fear, trauma, anxiety, like obviously some people, they think it's in their head, but there's a lot of people, they get ailments that are connected with it. So the pain comes out in the body and they're, like, I mean, I know me personally, when I was in my early 20s, I was running a massive job. I was thrown at the deep end and I was getting like a trapped nerve. It was basically my body was screaming, you shouldn't be working from 8 in the morning till 12 at night. Like, that's not sustainable. And I'd done all the different treatments. And in the end, it was a book. And it was like just basically kind of touching in with yourself to realize. And despite getting an epidural and surgery and everything, that didn't help. I was able to cure myself from a book. And like, there's a load of people that I've actually recommended this. And it's done the same. And you would think, like if somebody said that to me before, you'd go, how is that possible? Because you feel the pain. It's not as if like the pain is in your head. You're physically, you can see it in people, like their life. You know when somebody is in agony, so they are feeling the pain. But it's kind of tapping into that. So I'm glad as well that you said to have somebody with you, because sometimes people are trying to do this alone, and it's nice that when you've got support when you're trying to navigate this.
Yeah. We suppress a lot of emotions. And when you suppress it, it's energy. So it's just building up. And so the body's going to start signaling different parts of pain where it's like, okay, these are the emotions that you need to start feeling, but you just haven't had a space to feel them. Because a lot of people, they have a wrong relationship with anger, where it's like, no, befriend anger. Anger is the bodyguard of sadness and fear. So what is it that you're not able to really feel? And a lot of times there may be anger with a relationship with somebody else, but they have a perception, I can't dishonor them. I'm sorry about that. I cannot dishonor them because it's going to make me look unholy or unspiritual or unkind, where it's like, no, you're entitled to have these emotions. You're entitled to be human. You're entitled to feel these things, and your body is trying to protect you. It's always in a sense of protection. Yet it's inconvenient at times when the body is going through pain. And when I speak about pain, I went through significant pain. So I am not minimizing or making somebody feel like, oh, you don't get it. Oh, I get it. I had lesions in my meninges. So it was same thing as meningitis. So the pain that I went through was very debilitating. I was stuck in my bed for months. Yet by being able to face it, I was able to feel some emotions and feel deeply of what I needed to feel. And like you said, you started listening to the signals of your own body. I'm working this kind of job and thinking I'm some kind of robot that the body's going to be able to maintain it. Yet, were you actually using the other tools to sustain your body? Like some people can do those things, but they're doing cold plunges. They're making sure that they're eating properly. They're being able to sleep in a space where they can get REM and everything else. But a lot of us aren't taught that. We're taught to get money and earn a living. and to have success in career, to give our status of safety in the world. Where at the end, we, a lot of times people see we work to get to retirement, and then after retirement, we pay to get our health. And so a lot of people are starting to wake up of, okay, wait a minute. What can I do internally? Why am I not trusting my body? Why am I not able to face certain things? And yes, it's debilitating. Yes, it is. That's why I say radical honesty. We don't want to see, like, the nervous system doesn't want you to see certain things because it has created defense mechanisms, because it has thought that you aren't able to feel these emotions. You aren't able to process these experiences that have been pushed down. Yet once you have that space where somebody can show you that you have the capacity, you can weather these storms internally and have a better relationship with yourself. That's where the healing starts to come through. Does it change the environment that you're in? No, not at the moment. Yet the way that you show up in them is totally different. A lot of people think that inner healing is going to make everything unicorns and rainbows and blissful and there's no challenges. And it's like, spoiler alert, that's not how life is. Life's impermanent. And a healthy nervous system needs fear. It needs to dysregulate and come back into regulation to be able to navigate through life. Our brain needs some problems to find solutions, some new experiences. It's having a better relationship with the unknown and uncertainty, and having a better relationship with recognizing life is messy. There is no perfection. It's accepting yourself that this is a journey and a process. There is no arrival. I know we're sold that there's an arrival point and everything will go away. There is no such thing. Because as soon as you attain whatever goal or whatever thing that you thought, all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, where's this arrival safety? I don't got to do any more work. And it's like, no, you got to continue on. So if you're going to do the work, make it towards yourself and not for the world. Because when you take care of yourself, we benefit from it. Because energetically, then you can show up for so many other people.
Like kind of mentioned the way life is, curveballs. I mean, you don't know when you're going to get that baseball bat into the head or the ball, and like I mentioned prior to recording that I kind of pulled my groin when I was on holidays with my youngest son. He's 10, and thankfully it was like near the last 2 days, but I didn't let it go, oh, this is after ruining my holidays. It was still like my best holiday ever because I had such a fantastic time with him. I just said, okay, I won't be able to do the slides and stuff like that. And he's not, grand, sure, we done enough. We still ate the restaurants. I still went out at night because they had bands and different things playing. Whereas I think 20 years ago or something like that, before I went through my own journey, I'd have been kind of, oh, poor me. Oh, well, look what's after happened to me and everything. And I think that everything that happens is afterwards, once you kind of realize, you don't let it affect you as much. It's not that you have change in your life. That's constant. But it's how you react to it.
Yeah. And holding the space of allowing yourself to process a bit. Like, things have shifted. So there's a bit of grief because just 10 minutes ago, I could be fully active. Now, all of a sudden, my body's not letting me do what I could. And as you said, it's not having a poor me. The poor me denies feeling what you're feeling and going through the process of change, where it's like, okay, this is going on. How can I pivot to see what is possible? Not look at the lack of what's not possible anymore. What actually is possible? Yes, the dreams and the goals and the thing that I had structured, I want, where it's like, no. And I thank you for doing that, because you're modeling to your son how it is to be human and not denying that excuse me, not denying that you have an injury. It's okay. My mindset of, okay, I want to still be there for you, but it's going to change, and not putting yourself in agony just to please him because of his emotional state. And we always want them to be, in a great and feeling joy, where it's like you're actually modeling what it is to be human, and changing the narrative of what it is to be a man also, that there's a vulnerability, yet you can still choose how you're going to show up in that way. So thank you for that.
So I saw that you have like bracelets on the thing, and they're crystals, and like it's something that I've kind of learned over the years, the frequencies and everything. And they're actually reasonably priced, to be honest with you. I think it's like $30. And I thought, okay, that's fair enough. Because to be honest with you, sometimes people are charging a couple of $100 for things like that. And you might explain exactly what they do, but you also have, I think you put them into a bowl and do some other things. So you might explain exactly everything about the bracelets.
Yeah, so I have a singing bowl, which came from Nepal. And it helps to change the frequency because if some may not realize, we're feeling bodies that think. Our nervous system goes off of frequency and sound. So when you go into a room and you feel like something doesn't feel right, a lot of us have been separated from that. We haven't tapped into that. And being able to understand your nervous system is understanding that it's part of the energy field of the earth, energy field of all the things that it comes into contact with. And so you have to understand your biology of understanding, okay, there's certain things that activate my nervous system, psychological wounding, physical wounding. So what are the things that will help me to ground, to come back into my body? And certain crystals allow the frequency of being able to be vulnerable in spaces where it feels like a threat, to be, your authentic self. Other ones are being able to, like these bracelets here, have weight to them. So when I take it off, I'm more light, but when I have them on, it grounds me of, reminding myself, what are you feeling? Are you in your body? Are you feeling what needs to be processed and no longer holding on to things? My other bracelet helps with my ability to be in my intuition, to be open, to also have resilience to face the pain, because life always has different parts of pain. So each crystal brings a different frequency and brings a different vibration for each person. And so when they put it on, they can actually, like when people choose the bracelets that I have, I asked them, I was like, don't go looking for what you need. Let the bracelet call to you. So there's certain stones that all of a sudden they see and they're attracted to. And I'm like, okay. And when they select and they read the properties, they're like, that's exactly what I needed. And I'm like, let the energy of that, not being so analytical and intellectualizing things, start allowing your nervous system to guide you. What is it that I need? Where sometimes some people will be like, oh, that's woo woo and that's not intelligent and that's unsafe. Where it's like, trust your body. Your body knows what it requires. Yes, it's going to falter because some things you didn't realize were toxic for yourself. Yet that's where you start changing the programming in your body. Yet trusting yourself is the journey. And a lot of us have been severed from trusting our body.
Which, I mean, you go to AliExpress and things like that. You get, you see stuff like that, but they're not crystals, and people kind of fall for, and then they're kind of thinking that this doesn't help. How do people know what's a real crystal and what's not? Because in reality, they can make it look the exact same.
I am not, I couldn't tell you exactly, because like you said, look at purses now or certain clothing, they can copy it to the way. Look at now, food is being generated from a machine that looks exactly like it. So to be able to understand the property, it's also recognizing our belief system. How we prime ourselves is the most significant thing. So if you believe it's going to work, it will work. So it's understanding like this is the most powerful of how you're going to believe in something. Yet it's also, trying out things. I would also ask people to, look at the reviews of people, like see what people are saying and stuff, because in a world, yeah, we're being taken advantage of all the time. And some of the crystals that I go to a retailer that, sources them properly, yet how do I know that they've gotten it properly? Like I'm not here under a magnifying glass to see what is this and that, yet I can feel energetically what it feels like in my body. And so that is the bigger source that I say. Others, like I haven't dived completely deeply into crystals. So those that have, I know they have a better answer for this to really play out. And I would also, though, sometimes people are saying some things to make themselves look intelligent. and look like they're the expert, where I'm like, I'm not about that. Like, I will answer what I know. Um, and sometimes, like in this world, copycatting and gems and stuff like that, yeah, we can be taken for advantage of. Yet, find out what the properties feel for you, and look, whoever's selling it, like, see what their reviews are, see what the people are saying about them, because that is its own reputation also. And make sure, like, you do a bit of a research, because now with people using bots and putting all kinds of comments and stuff like that, if everything just looks all great, it's like, if there's no negative reviews, just be a little bit hesitant. Like, if they have like 5,000 reviews and there's no negative, it's like, I don't know. If they have 20 or 50 and it's all positive, then that makes a little bit more sense, because that's, their small circle that they're working with. Yeah, when you start getting into the thousands and people are always agreeing, it's like, there's not everything, it's like music. Not everybody likes the same kind of music. And it doesn't mean that one is worse than the other. It's just we all have different frequencies.
Yeah. I mean, like, even same with books and stuff like that. Like, it, same with podcasting. You'll always have usually 5 to 10% of people that just don't get it, and they're the ones that tend to write about it. So if there's reviews, yeah, you'll see it. Your podcast, then, it's Lift
Lift
OneSelf.
oneself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You would tell us about.
Yeah.
You're 21. You started, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, 2021. What's ironic is I launched the podcast and I had, I think, 2 episodes out, and I completely ruptured my Achilles. So if anybody knows about a complete rupture of an Achilles, you know how painful that is. And so, I, again, like, for when I speak, I have lived experience. So, I went through the grief, and how am I going to do this podcast? How am I going to record out of my bed? And all these, narratives that you have, that you want perfection, yet I still navigated through it. And I allowed, myself to be the living testament of what's possible. You just have to shift in different ways. And is it messy? Yeah, it was messy at the beginning. Anybody that's created a podcast, you know how much of a learning curve it is, and readjusting. Yet I wanted to create these conversations that remove the stigma around mental health, and also bring in different modalities of what healing can look like for people. I didn't want only having the experts say what you can do. I wanted them to reveal their persona, reveal their inner story, so that people can have relatability and not just feel like I can't attain there because it looks too polished and too perfect and it doesn't look like my life. Where, if you listen to everybody's story, you can see a glimpse of yourself in that narrative. So I just wanted to create more of a space of openness so that people can start engaging in their inner world and healing.
And because I'm actually working with a guy, Daniel Packard, and it was mainly kind of anxiety that he was doing, but now it's like fear and procrastination as well. But it's because it's kind of going against the norm, because sometimes people are going to the therapist for 10 years and everything, and he's got, fantastic results, like a 90% success rate, and it's usually about 6 weeks that he's able to help people. But it's the belief system of people, because they think it's not possible. And I'm sure you must have kind of come up with that as well, because like people have been conditioned all their life, and then you kind of come along and you go, I can actually help you. And they go, no, you can't. And they've already put a wall up in front of them. And I was just wondering how you navigate that one.
Well, that's why I have a 15-minute discovery call, because not everybody I'll be able to work with. Because like you said, if they have that wall, you need to have that willingness. I do, when people are in my space, they feel a calmness, because my nervous system, they're able to hook into my nervous system and feel co-regulation. So they feel safe to be themselves and, explore certain things. Yet if the nervous system is really in the depths of its fight or flight, there's a lot of negative bias, and there's a lot of work that you have to, kind of climb out of. Yet if you have a willingness, then yeah, we're going to face the fear. We're not going to, a lot of people are like, don't fear, or fear is don't, it's either fear or love. It's like, well, no, it's love and fear. Like, love is your spirituality, your spirit. The fear is part of your humanness and your nervous system. Yet if you allow it to always be in control, yeah, it's going to have a separation with love because it doesn't understand that it's a sense of belonging. Where if you allow yourself to face the nervous system, face the anxiety, and ask it, what are you trying to signal to me? And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to get back into my intuition or get back into my gut feeling. It's like, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to activate fear. And they're like, what? I don't understand that. It's like, yes, there's healthy fear. Your intuition is going to bring you into the unknown and uncertainty. It's going to bring you into the possibilities. And possibilities means it was never experienced before. So your nervous system's going to try and find past experiences to see, is this unsafe? And it's going to bring up narratives to make it to stop you because its one function is don't die. Yet you have to be able to see, no, I have the resources and the ability to go through this. If there's failure, if there's messiness, I have the tools to be able to navigate through that. I also have the tools to receive the abundance and the possibilities that's also there. When people talk about shadow work, there's glimmer sides of that shadow. You just only want to see the shadow part. You're not recognizing you are the light. So yeah, it's facing what he's doing is facing the nervous system where people are like, I don't know anything about this thing. And no. And it's like, you can face it. You can face the fear.
You've given me a meditation as well, because I mean, obviously we've done one there, but you've given me a meditation that I'll put out after this episode. So you may just let people know what that meditation is about that you've sent me.
It's in regards to really regulating your nervous system and doing some deep belly breaths so that you can allow whatever, a lot of people that have that feel anxiety or feel paranoia or a lot of fear. When you do some deep belly breaths, it helps to regulate that nervous system and be able to come into the body. So that meditation is allowing you to come in and allow yourself to somatically release, not analyze, oh, this person, that person. Just let the body release the energy. It doesn't need to be analyzed. Like that's where a lot of people get stumped in therapy because they're going to analyze the feeling where it's like, no, the body just needed to release the expression so you can get to the undercurrents, not look at the actual emotion. It's actually going underneath. So that meditation allows more safety and being able to face your nervous system and regulate it.
So, listen, Natalie, thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. You might let people know how can they come find you.
So they can find me at www.liftoneself.com. That's my website, liftoneself.com. They can find me on social media under Lift OneSelf also. The podcast is under Lift OneSelf. So as you can see, I've really branded myself with the Lift OneSelf, thankfully. And, if anything resonated with you in this conversation, just shoot me an email, send me a DM. Just, create a conversation. No question is a stupid question. No question is something that is irrelevant. There's a reason why it popped up. So there's something in my frequency that possibly I can connect you with. So, I'm playful, I'm joyful, and I'm always engaging of, I want to create safety and healing in this world because I understand how treacherous and how long this journey has been in the 10 years. So anything that I can help facilitate to speed up that process for somebody else, I'm honored to do.
I mean, I know you're playful because you're going by Nat Nat, which is fantastic. I'll make sure I'll put all the links, social media, website, as well as your podcast, both on the audio and the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I just want to remind you, Roy, and your listeners to please remember to be kind to yourself. You matter.
Yep. Oh, beautiful. Yep. So, you'll find all our episodes on meditationpodcast.org. Sure to comment. Let us know what you thought of the discussion today. As long as it's not abusive, it stays up. Until next week, take care.